G'day, I'm James, and I have another challenge for you. This time I'd like you to take three strands, three strings, and tie them to the back of a chair in order. Strand 1, strand 2, strand 3. And what I'd like you to do with your strands is just braid them, but in some really random, haphazard manner. For example, I might do the left one over the middle one. Then I might do the new left one over the middle one again. Maybe I'll do the right one under the middle one. Maybe I'll do that again and again. Maybe I'll do the left one under the middle one, and keep going. Just do some random maneuvers here and make this crazy braid. That's good enough. There's my crazy braid. All right, so you use the three loose ends to do that, but now I want you to commit yourself to the braid you made by actually fixing the loose ends as well. Take a long solid object like a wooden spoon, and right now I've got a left, middle, and right end. Tie them to the wooden spoon in that order. Here's my new left. I'm tying it to the left of my spoon. Whoops. There we go. Make it nice and secure. Tie the new middle to the middle position of your spoon. Great. And then tie the new right hand to the right position of your spoon. So I've now committed to the braid I made. There it is. There's my commitment to this lovely, glorious braid. All right, so now, here's the question. You made a lovely braid. Can you now untangle it? You made it with loose ends, but now you don't have loose ends. Can you undo what you did without the advantage of loose ends? Now you can move the spoon any way you like. For example, you could turn 180 degrees, that'd be fine. Or you can do something like maybe bring the spoon up in a gap between two strands. I did that. Not sure if that was helpful or not, but then I could do something like that again, maybe, something like that. Oh, I seem to be loosening it up. Oh, okay, so then keep going. So what I want you to do is just play with this. Make a braid, see if you can untangle it. If you can, great. If you can't, well, maybe make another braid. Get a feel, just play. Which braids can you seem to untangle and which braids can't you untangle? Is there some sort of theory possibly going on, some sort of conjectures about what makes a braid untangleable or not? Just play, develop some intuitive feel for what's going on, and we'll start developing some theory next. Oh, and as you were playing, I wonder if you noticed something. For example, in my particular braid, my middle strand, the white one, starts in the middle, does whatever crazy things it's doing, and ends up back in the middle position. Every time that happens, did you notice you can untangle your braid? The middle strand ends up back in the middle, it is untangleable. In fact, let me see if I can do that right now. See if I can do it with this one. This looks crazy, but maybe I'll do my spoon through here, and then maybe I'll do my spoon through there, and then maybe I'll do it again. How am I doing? I might do a 180-degree rotation. Then I might do it again. And look at that. I can untangle it. In fact, I did untangle it. There it is. Whoa. Okay. So before we dive into some mathematical theory, play with that some more. Make some braids where the middle end starts in the middle and ends up in the middle position. I'm going to make it loose ends, make a braid, but the middle ends in the middle. See if you really can untangle it each and every time you try. Wow. Now I could argue that if the middle end doesn't end up back in the middle, then I've got no hope of untangling it. To be untangled, I definitely need the middle end to be back in the middle. All right, so definitely if the middle end doesn't end up back in the middle, cannot be untangled, but I'm now claiming, and try it, if the middle end does end up back in the middle, it can be untangled. Give it a go, verify that a few times. Okay, so let's develop some mathematics for these braid tangles. So what we're doing, when I make a braid, there's only basically two things I can do. I'm going to take the left two strands and cross them over. I'll call that a left braid. Or I can take the right two strands and cross them over, and I'll call that a right braid. Well, okay, great, I'll just do that over and over again. Though you're probably thinking something, actually, James, that's not quite right. There's actually two different types of left moves I could do. I can do a left move where the leftmost strand goes over first, or I can do a left move where the leftmost strand goes under first. And ditto, I can do the leftmost strand here going over, or I can do the left-hand strand here going under. All right, so there's actually two types of lefts and two types of rights. In fact, let me call this where the leftmost strand goes over L, and let me call the type where the leftmost strand goes under L inverse. And that is actually an appropriate name here, because look at this. If I did an L move, go over, and follow it by doing an L move but going under, there it is, there's an L at the top and there's an L inverse in the bottom, that's really equivalent to having no tangle whatsoever. L inverse really does undo L, and R inverse would really undo R as well. Okay, all right, so that's good notation, except here's something. I don't need to fuss about that. These are the same. In my braid, in my spoon tangling game, an L inverse and an L are exactly the same things. Let me show you what I mean by that. Here's an L. Over. All right, now let me attach these to a wooden spoon, except I'll use a piece of cardboard this time, which is a little bit quicker for me. I claim this L I've just made is actually equivalent to L inverse, and I don't need to worry about fussing whether I've got an L or an L inverse because they're the same thing. Because look, here's my spoon tangling game. I'm allowed to move the spoon any way I like. I'm going to move it through this gap by bringing it up through this gap. Up through that gap. There it is. And I think I just changed the nature of that crossing. Did I? I think I did an L first, but now I can see this leftmost strand's now going under. That's now definitely an L minus 1 right there. Let me bring it back. Let's turn this back to being an L. Okay, in my spoon tangling game, I can push the spoon up between that gap there. Yes, I've definitely turned that into an L. So in spoon tangling, since I can move the spoon and I can change any L to L minus 1, doesn't matter. Just call them L. I can turn any R into R minus 1, doesn't matter, just call them R. I don't need to worry about R's and R's inverses, L's and L inverses. Oh, which then means if I do some braiding, I do an L, then do another L, then do another L, and do another L, then do an R, that's kind of crazy because if I do an L and an L, an L, an L, and then an R, well, I know I could turn that L into an L inverse and those will cancel each other out. I could turn that L into an L inverse and cancel those ones out, which is pushing part of my knot, my braid, back up through itself. So really that would be just the same as a single R. Whenever I have two L's in a row, it's equivalent to having nothing. When I have two R's in a row, it's equivalent to having nothing. So any braid is equivalent to having no two L's in a row, no two R's, no L's. There's only really two types of braids that are possible. A braid that goes L, R, L, R, L, R for a while, or a braid that goes R, L, R, L, R, L for a while. There's only those two types of braids basically around. Except it gets even better than that, because look at this. Let me take these strands, tie them to my spoon again. So the sort of move I just did then was pushing my spoon through gaps. Push the spoon through gaps, converted these things into each other. But there was another move I could do with my spoon, namely do a 180-degree rotation. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, so that was untangled. That's the identity, that's nothing. But look at this. I see right now I've got an L, an R, and an L. Not going to worry about inverses or not because they're all the same. L, R, L. So L, R, L, L, R, L is actually equivalent to a nothing. There's an L, R, L, it's equivalent to nothing. In the same way, R, L, R is equivalent to nothing. I guess I have to do it the other way around. That would do it. R, yep. R, L, R, equivalent to nothing. Great, so actually when I do a string of L's and R's, oh, those first three terms can go away, those three terms can go away, blah, blah, blah. Do those three terms go away? Identity, identity, identity. So I can only have strings of L's and R's, but they can't be 3 or longer. So there's only actually these braids I could possibly make. L, R, R, L, 2 long, 1 long, R or L, or have the identity, no braid at all. So there's only actually 5 braids I can make. Except, no, this actually gets even better than that. LR. I could put an R minus 1 in front. I know it's the identity, it does nothing. But then I see R, L, R there. Oh, that's the identity. So this is really R minus 1, which is really the same as R. It's back to being that. This one, I could put an L, L minus 1 in front. But L, R, L is the identity. It's equivalent to nothing. So this is really the same as L minus 1, which is the same as L, same as that. So actually, there's only 3 braids you can make. Maneuvering your spoon is going to bring you back to one of these 3. It's either going to be a single L, like this, in which case the middle strand is not in the middle, it's definitely going to be on the left now. Or you can make a single R, in which case the middle strand is not in the middle, it's going to be on the right now. Or you can do basically nothing, where the middle strand is in the middle. In fact, if the middle strand ends up in the middle, you know you must be equivalent to that braid there. That is no braid at all. That is, it's untangleable. So if that middle strand ends up back in the middle, no matter what crazy things you did, it must be equivalent to the identity state, the untangled state. That does it. Whoa! Okay, here's something quite lovely. Here's my 3 strands, 3 loose ends. I'm going to make a standard braid. I'm going to cross the left 2, then the right 2, then the left 2, then the right 2, the left 2, then the right 2. I'll do it 6 times because then I can see I'm ending up with the middle strand back in the middle. So there is a lovely standard braid with 6 crossings, left, right, left, right, left, right. Grand. Now I'm going to fix these in place. So I'll put my right end to the right on my wooden spoon, or my wooden spoon equivalent here, middle to the middle, and the left to the left. So there is my braid with now fixed ends. My standard braid, 6 crossings with fixed ends. Great. Now, because that middle strand is ending it back in the middle, I know I can untangle this. I know I can undo it. So let me actually do it. I think I can see what to do. Let's bring this up through that gap. There. I've got all these little dangly bits. It's a little bit annoying. Let me now bring this through this gap here. I think it'll be nice to do that. Let's see. Oh, that's looking good. Let me just bring it up through this gap now. There we go. And I think I want to bring it up through this gap here. And there we are. Oh, so I had my braid with 3 fixed ends, and I maneuvered it and got it back to the free state here, which means I could just undo what I did, take this situation with both ends fixed, and make that braid again. Undo my undoing. That's your challenge. Can you start with this position where my ends are definitely fixed, 3 strands with both ends fixed, and remake that braid? In fact, if you do, you can, because we proved you can. There it is. It's actually beautiful. It's lovely. You can make a braid with no free ends whatsoever. What's particularly beautiful about this, each strand is basically flat. The front face of that strand stays essentially forward all the time. Each strand, the front face of the strand is always front. You've got no twists going on in the strands themselves. It's a beautiful flat braid. It's stunning. There it is. Your challenge is to start with this and make one of these. Can you do it?